My name is Michael Derbas. I formed Halfmoon Bay RV Resort and started working on it since 2017. In my life, I've done a few things, primarily movies. I worked in the movies for several years. I started as a cameraman, director of photography, moved on to become a film producer, produced various movies for Hollywood, and eventually ended up choosing land development and building housing for people as the mission in my life. I love what I do, and I'm here to tell you a few things about my latest project, Halfmoon Bay RV Resort. So in terms of utilities, all our services at Halfmoon Bay RV Resort are underground. You look at our water lines, electrical lines, cable TV lines are all underground to ensure that during all the seasons of the year, all the utilities are protected. Other than that, when we talk about Wi-Fi, we have Wi-Fi in various areas. So some people say, yeah, Wi-Fi is very important to me. Then they would be stationed in areas that are closer to a Wi-Fi hotspot. Other than that, when you look at our electrical service, we have 30 amps, 50 amps, 100 amps, and 200 amps. You say, well, how come 200 amps? Well, at an area like where we are located or standing right here at the moment, this is called White Horse. There are 4 single-family homes basically scheduled to be at White Horse. With that, you can see that the electrical service here is 200 amps. You see this is Kanata behind me, so all the sites at Kanata or at White Horse, they all have cable TV connected. And we've divided the whole area at Halfmoon Bay RV Resort to sections that is made out of 3 RV pads, 4 RV pads, 2 RV pads, 1 single RV pad to ensure that everybody has enough privacy to enjoy their pocket of land without having to be next to too many neighbors. At Halfmoon Bay Resort, we ensured that our laundromat is 24 hours, allowing people who come from work late or they start work early to be able to get up, take care of any house needs to ensure that their laundry is taken care of. There are many washing machines, many dryers. We do not hang any clothes on the fences. Speaking of fences, there are 6-foot-high cedar fences that give privacy. Everybody is thrilled here about our fences because they allow you to greet your neighbor, visit with your neighbor whenever you feel like it, but you don't have to be looking at each other at all times. The fences, some of them are like 120, 130 feet long, meaning you get tons of room to park your RV, your boat, your additional sedan, your truck, and so on. Now, on the storage front, we provide various storage facilities. We have rooms that are 5 by 8 by 9 feet high that is. We offer also 10 by 8 by 9s. We offer 20 by 8 by 9s. And here we are. I am with my dear friend Mark Rose. Mark is very knowledgeable about the development and the construction of the Halfmoon Bay RV Resort. Mark got acquainted with the project in 2017 and worked very closely with me, Michael Derbas, on the development of this project. Welcome, Mark. And Mark has a couple of words he'd like to share with us.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts about the Halfmoon Bay Resort?
Well, what was transformed from raw land, a base BC, when I came out here from Toronto, it was everything I dreamed. I met Michael, who was my first acquaintance here on the Sunshine Coast, and what can I say? Here I am in the rugged BC, and he has this vision. He says, Mark, this is going to be great. This is going to be grand. This is going to be a fantastic place for everybody to enjoy, a piece of paradise, that a little piece that you could come to, enjoy, and stay with the family or friends and be on your way, or stay for some extended time. I said, really, Michael, I can see it, but boy, that's going to take some work. And not only that, Mark, there are going to be some homes on here as well. Okay, so let's get to it. And you know, we diligently pieced it together. It was a lot of ups and downs, and more downs than ups at times. But we got through it, didn't we, Michael? It was a fantastic roller coaster, and we started to have a lot of people coming by and really starting to see the transformation of this place, and questioning, wow, how did you do this, and how was that possible? I didn't even think that could be done. And at the end, we established a beautiful place that people could not only live, transition, an affordable method of living, especially at this time on the Sunshine Coast where housing prices are just through the roof. So it really offered a great piece of a paradise to everybody, for somebody to afford. And I'm really proud to be a part of that project, and I really feel that Avrio as a whole has only done an amazing job in doing this. So thank you, Michael, for letting me be part of this.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, please, when you came to live at Halfmoon Bay Resort, you were remotely looking at the RV path. How was the process to actually sort out and pick one that works for you?
I'll admit, being so far, so we were living up on Haida Gwaii, we were quite concerned about finding a place down here being so far away. It was about a 30-hour trip to get here. Being able to pick something that you're going to call home, being so far away, can be quite a daunting thing. But contacting you guys and the whole process of finding a site and being sent pictures and whatnot was really quite easy. We were surprised actually by how easy the process was in choosing something that we were going to be able to call home eventually.
That's wonderful. I looked at how you set up your home, and honestly, in my opinion, it's a wonderful setup for a family that, looking at how challenging these days living in a city is, coming and setting up the home and making it comfortable for a family and looks clean and the lights and all that. Who's behind all this? Who's taking care of organizing the home and making it look pretty?
It's a little bit both of my husband and I actually. We sold our farm in Alberta before we moved back to BC up to Haida Gwaii. So we did a lot of downsizing, and we really appreciate the simplicity of living an RV lifestyle. And that's kind of really helped, I guess, simplify our lives and get rid of a lot of that clutter that goes along with having a traditional home.
People say we work only to pay bills sometimes, and
Yep.
look at today, interest rates going up. The cost of borrowing is really killing people. People who have a mortgage, and the mortgage payments could have doubled on them in the last 6, 7, 8 months.
Yep.
Tell us a few words about the economics of living at an RV place for a family who's struggling and so on. Are we living when we're living in the city and pushing so hard, or is this better living?
I would definitely say it's better living. When we first went from living on our farm in Alberta to downsizing to our RV, it was a little bit scary at first, I'll admit, but we're almost a year into this process at this point, and we don't have any plans of changing that. The only thing that we would change is maybe a bigger trailer. But overall, it's really great. It's kept our costs down, and the coast is beautiful, but it's very expensive, and it's been a great way to be able to be here and not be able to just work to pay to be here.
Here we are with our dear friend Joe. Joe has been with us for a while. Good evening, Joe, and thank you for being with us.
Hi, Michael.
Hi. So if you would tell us a few words, your take on the economics of living within an RV community, particularly at times when interest rates today are north of 7.5. Anybody who has a loan of $1 million or even thereabout, they could be paying up to $70,000, $80,000 a year in interest. Why, in your opinion, does it make sense to own an RV and to live in an RV community?
We're lucky because we've owned ours for about 12 or 13 years now, so it's long paid for. So most people, basically the younger people that are coming in are buying a unit and they're getting their monthly payments down to $500, $600, $700 a month, and then you're paying your pad rental on top of that. So it's a very economical way of living, especially for either seniors or younger people. It makes it worthwhile as opposed to $3,000 or $4,000 mortgage payment. At the same time, you're creating equity in the unit that you own.
That's terrific. Very good way to inform people who are still new to it. Next question, in an RV community, in an RV resort, what would you say are some of the key elements to encourage quality family to be at a place that makes sense versus the stigma of, oh, that's an RV park, that's not a good place? What would separate a good RV living community from a less controlled, less exciting as a controlled environment, safe and secure?
Well, the big thing is, and as you can see behind us, what we've done is it's home for us. And you're comfortable when you're at home, and that's what you do. You create your own environment and your own living area, so to speak. I mean, we're lucky we have a bigger lot than some of the other spots, and at your place, you have all your lots are big compared to some of the other RV places we've been in, so it just makes it very comfortable.
That is terrific. At one point you moved here, your other members of your family, your direct brother lived here, they moved out, they come back in. What would you say to people who today are living in cities, as the same relates to RV, and any extra freedoms or benefits that are not only financial?
Well, you're living in a nice space here. You got trees, you got the blue sky, as you can see, and it's very comfortable, and as opposed to city living. But that's a choice everybody has to make, whether you want to be a downtown living in the city or living a little bit rural. And the development over here on the coast is huge, so it's a rural living, and if that's the choice people have to make.
Joe, I thank you for being with us, and this is
Thanks,
very
Michael.
informative.
What would you tell people who have not had the pleasure yet of living in an RV? What are the main characteristics to live in an RV?
Well, you have to be willing to give up a lot of stuff because the RV is a lot smaller, which I didn't have any trouble doing. And you have to be in nature. Do you know, I lived in a trailer park that was, blump, 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 blump. It was awful. But here it's quiet. I'm surrounded by the forest. My neighbors are wonderful. Somebody lost their keys, I heard, and you told everybody, so they were found, which is really nice. Everyone is really friendly, and it's comfortable here, and it's quiet, which I really love. It is a really good place for families. If they like to live in an RV, it is beautiful because it's safe. And that is all the difference in the world. There's even a laundromat here, which I just love. But it's safe. Like, I had my little granddaughter here for a couple of days, and I didn't have to worry. That's one of the nice things, when you feel safe. I didn't feel safe where I used to live.
What gives you that feel of extra safety at Halfmoon Bay RV Resort? Is it the neighbors? Is it the fact that there is management living on site? Is it the fact that you got used to the people around you? Tell us a little about it.
First of all, I had a talk with you and found out what this place was about, and you told me your concerns, and I told you mine, so we could agree. And that made me comfortable and made me feel that this would be a safe place to move to. That made all the difference in the world. And you were respectful. I've met some that aren't so much like that. And you live right here. So if there's a problem, I can phone you right away. I know even if you're not home, you'll answer the phone. That's a really good feeling.
Archie, I remember in 2017 when we appeared on the site and we saw all the moose and we saw all these big animals, and I was really startled. And I had told you that, I will never come to live or work that far. It seemed to me like it's the end of the world. Yet, at the end, Halfmoon Bay Resort ended up being my home for the last 6 years. How did you feel about selling the homes? We started with nobody living on site. Today, we have over 160 people living on site. How did it feel to you? How was it like to tell people, come live at Halfmoon Bay Resort?
It was a nice, actually, meeting between you and I when we met, and we zigzagged our way, and it did take a long time to get to Halfmoon Bay, Secret Cove area, but once we got there, and I've had other clients say the same thing, once we got there and drove back, you realized it was only 20, 25 minutes longer than what you expected. The highway is nice out there. It doesn't get curvy until after your project. So yeah, I was pretty good, and I knew you would have liked it, and it worked out very nice.
That's wonderful. Okay, Archie, last, the economics of the marketplace today and people buying a home versus people renting or living in an RV situation. At one point, it seemed like, no, that's a downgrade to live in an RV park. Today, we look at the interest rate. Interest on $1 million today for a residential borrower could be $75,000 to $80,000 a year. That's a lot of money.
That is.
So how do you put that in perspective for the average RV user if they bought the home and they have an RV pad at Halfmoon Bay Resort and they place their home there and they end up paying plus minus $900, $1,000 or from there? How does that translate in the marketplace from your experience with people looking for homes?
You found the space in between what was needed, and you were the kind of the pioneer in that one. And as you see what you've done, there are other people following in your footsteps and doing the same thing. Home affordability is just, yeah, I don't know what to even say about it, but it's not there. Nobody can afford homes. It's just getting out of reach. The interest rates are going crazy. You found a spot in the market that people can actually call home and feel good about it. It's a nice, real nice environment. It's affordable for them. And they just fit right in. And we need people like that. We need those people. There are workers in the downtown core. They're never going to afford to live down here. And this is just a really good thing, a really good spot for you.
Thank you very much, Archie. Archie McLean from Remax, and Archie also is one of the fastest drummers and the best musicians on the Sunshine Coast. Thank you, Archie.
Thank you, Michael.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
Well, here we are with Julia Walker at Peace Point number 3. Julia, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Michael.
Well, you've been living in the RV setup, the RV life for several years. You're an experienced RVer. What would you say to anybody who hasn't lived in RVs? They're from the city. What are the specifics to living in an RV setup?
Make sure you like a nomad life. It's totally different from house living. It's the best kind of life, especially for retirement. A very simple life, but there are a lot of maintenance, more so than a house. There's a lot of upkeep, and you have to keep your unit up. I smoke all our own bacon and lunch meats, and if you can smoke it, I'll smoke it. Smoke pigs.
Yes.
And we barbecue. I barbecue a lot, so hence the barbecue and the smoker. I love to grow our own food, to have healthy food, and gardening is just a passion, a pastime that just totally relaxes a person.
It's terrific. You've done a great job here, and honestly, you've transformed just an RV pad to a home with a beautiful garden, with life, with fig trees, with other plants, with flowers. It's so wonderful. You have your lovely 2 little friends who are members of the family. How are they, and how do they feel about living in a setup like this?
One of them, as long as she's got her bed of lettuce, she's happy. The other one, she loves it because she can chase the squirrels. She's great at keeping the mice away. That's all they've known. Since we've had them for 7 years. So
7 years. And what are their names?
Mocha and Dottie.
Mocha and Dottie. And now it's quiet because Mocha and Dottie are on a break.
Yes.
Julia, tell us a little about the economics of somebody living in an RV setup versus paying for a mortgage or paying for an expensive apartment in the city.
Rent is a lot more affordable. You have your own front backyard, so to speak. You don't have to go down a hallway, down an elevator. Nobody can afford the rents. Mortgages are astronomical. For seniors or anybody on a limited income, if they can afford a good unit, it's the way to go. It's just a very peaceful, quiet life.
That's wonderful.
And here it's very, very safe.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Julia, we thank you. You've done a great job to the people who are listening and people who are learning about RV living.
I've been a lot of parks on the coast. This one's got her all.
Terrific. Good to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, first off, I've been a long-term resident in Halfmoon Bay, and I'm a hard man to please. I like the peace and quiet, and I like to be away from cities. So this is perfect for me. If you like what I like, you would really enjoy living here.
Halfmoon Bay Resort is about freedom for us. We live there because it's the next step to freedom. It's affordable. You still live in your own house, and it's a beautiful area. It's private.
You've made a great garden out of your place.
Oh my God, yes.
You made it like heaven on earth.
We have.
What prompted you to put so much love into this place?
Because it's the owner,
The owner.
Michael. No, it's true. You're a wonderful person, and you've given us the freedom to do that.
That's wonderful.
And that's what's great about Halfmoon Bay.
God bless. One more last question before I thank you is the economics of living at an RV park. Who will it work for? Who are the candidates that will do well living at an RV park from an economics point of view?
Well, I think definitely the people over 55, you know. Nobody wants a big mortgage anymore at our age, right? We're retired, we want easy living. That's easy living. And second of all, even families, if they can live there, it's affordable for them. Like right now, nobody can live in a place on the Sunshine. There's nothing here to rent. And if there is, it's $2,000-3,000 a month. That's not affordable for
Terrific.
most people.
Roxy, thank you very much. Have a terrific day.
You too,
All right.
Michael. Thank you
Sabalot.
so much.
There you go. Being in this beautiful area on the Sunshine Coast, it tells you that when you live in Halfmoon Bay, in Pender, close to the nature, close to the lakes, to the beautiful views, basically you're living your life versus you're chasing and never catching by living in the city and trying to make your ends meet by paying your mortgage, paying your high expensive rent and so on. On the other hand, having a tiny home RV, an RV that moves and can be parked any place that you choose, you end up paying for your water, sewer, electricity, all in one package at Halfmoon Bay RV Resort. It's all inclusive, so no surprises to you. You are on a very controlled budget and you own your home that you can move it from A to B to C, D as your life calls for during the development of your family, your children, and what have you. Highly recommend that you consider the economics and the lifestyle of living at Halfmoon Bay RV Resort.